Wow, how do I follow that? Yeah, well, I myself have been clean from drinking drugs now for 15 years, right? But before that, my Ben turned around and said I used to destroy lives. I wasn't a very kind man. I was a, I wasn't very loving to my wife and my daughter. And I was, if I when I think back and look at the man I used to be, I was ashamed to be that man. But strange things happen. A man took me under his wing in recovery. My sponsor, my best friend, one of my best friends, he took me under his wing and he said to me, "Will you do whatever it takes to get clean and sober?" And I said, "Yes, I will." And since that day, I never looked back. And a lot of us in this room come from the meetings and recovery. And one of the things we had to learn to do was admit that we was powerless and surrender over this demon that basically possessed us. I now know what that demon was. It wasn't just drinking drugs, it was the devil that possessed us. And my sponsor and my friend Terry said to me, "Will you go to any lengths to get recovery?" And I said, "Yes, I will." And he said, "Will you learn to believe in the power of your own understanding you could restore you to sanity?" And I said, "Yes, I will," because I was a broken man and I needed recovery. And bit by bit, I rebuilt myself. And I reached out and helped other addicts. And I practiced his principles all my affairs. And my primary purpose was to reach out and help other people and help them to recover from this terrifying illness. And all the time, it's like I didn't know what it was. And I used to get down on my knees and I used to pray to God of my own understanding because I didn't know what I was praying to, but I just knew something was there and was protecting me. Right. And my, my friend Terry, he said, "Mark," he said, and in the meantime, my dad was dying. And I was under a lot of emotional and a lot of mental stress at the time. My friend Terry said to me, come to, I believe, convention and a retreat down in Ellsbury in the Priory." And I went down there with an open mind. And we basically preach 12 steps of recovery. And a lot of these principles are Christian principles. They're all Christian principles that we preach. So this coming to church isn't strange for us. It's just another progression on for what we've already learned. Right? This is why we feel so comfortable here. And I went to this retreat, and my understanding of Jesus and God at the time wasn't very nice. Because when I was brought up, the God that I was introduced to wasn't kind. He wasn't nice, and he was very oppressive. And I rebelled against it as a boy. And when my sponsor and stuff spoke about Jesus and God, I went, "No, that's not a bit of me. I believe in something that looks after me, but I don't know. That's not a bit of me because he wasn't in my heart." And then I went to this retreat, and something inside of me changed. The two people that introduced me to the Jesus I now know that loves me are sitting here today. They've come all the way down from Brighton, I believe, or something like that, down to support me, right? And what they did after we'd done our course, they got up and they spoke about a kind, loving Jesus that loves you no matter what, and he's always there for you. And I looked up and I said, "You know what? I'll have a bit of that. I can believe in that." And they spoke about, they told me to close my eyes and imagine there's a lake and there's a bridge coming across the lake. And what can you see? And I saw, as it got closer, I could see me walking across the bridge. And he held his arms out and he said, hello, my old friend, welcome back." And it was like my soul re-entered itself. And I now know what I was filled with that day. All the time, Jesus has been knocking on the door of me in recovery, but I just didn't know what it was and I didn't let it in because I was scared, I think. I opened my heart and I let Jesus in, and it's just filled me up in a way that I'm shaking. I don't cry and get upset in front of people, right? I'm so nervous. I'm more nervous than I've ever been in my life, right? And I opened my heart up. And that feeling, my beautiful wife is sitting down there today. I come back and I told her about it and I couldn't stop crying. like I am now. I was brought up in a way not to cry. And I come here to this church because a friend of mine many years ago, in my darkest days of addiction, he reached out to help me, a guy called Ian Burbridge. He was an old... Ian, hello, brother. Thank you, mate. I come here to find him because I didn't want to lose that contact that I'd found in the retreat. And I walked in here and everybody made me feel welcome. And straight away I thought, wow, I feel at home here straight away. I feel peace. And everybody here has welcomed me in and I just feel at home. And I'm going to share a little something with you today that you had more chance of winning the lottery. That about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I phoned up Graham and Pat and I left a message on their voicemail on their phone. And I said to them, guys, thank you for what you've done for me. To like opening my eyes up. Would you please like to come to me being baptised? And then this morning, Graham and Pat have turned up. So I thought to myself, they must have got my message. Right? And I was over the moon. I was so happy to see them. Right? Because they was the ones that started me on this path. And when the actual service finished today, I said to them, did you obviously you got the message? And they went, what message, Mark? I said, I left you a message on your phone. They said, no, we didn't get a message. My daughter come here last week and turned around and said to, I think it was Tim, one of my mum and dad's friend with a big moustache comes here. And straight away, they knew it was. And then Tim, I believe, told his daughter that I'm getting baptised today. Right? So they've come here today, not because I left them a message, because it was God's will. And he's come here today. So this is what's happening. Like, my journey today, right, I have a feeling inside of me now, it's like I've got a glow. People look at me now and they say, they call me I'm a ready break man, because I have this glow around me, right? Everybody that's come here today, all my friends and brothers from the meetings, thank you for coming. And thank you for everybody else. And God bless all of you. Amen.